Hey everyone, agenda for today is replacing this laundry sink. We got a brand new one that looks a little bit nicer, a couple more features to it that we're going to be putting in place. So, want to show you all how it's done. So as we look at this thing, it's definitely time to retire this guy. Wobbly, not in there too well. We're going to be starting first with turning off the water right back here. Always be careful with these. Always know where your emergency water shut off is because these things don't always work. Now I'm going to just go above, turn the water on, just make sure it is off. Nothing's coming through, so this water's off. And we're ready to go and start disconnecting. Okay, so this thing's pretty much only being held in by the drain pipe right under here. So we're going to get that disconnected first. This whole thing's going to give us more flexibility to get the water lines off. I'm going to grab my bucket first. We're dealing with nasty water under here. Stick it underneath. And so typically, you probably shouldn't have to need tools for this, but just in case, I got my channel locks, just in case. Probably going to need them on the highest setting, just in if I do have to use them. Don't have to use them for this. So I'm just gonna unscrew that. Ooh, goodness. We got a pair of smaller channel locks here. Gonna reach back. Let me move you around. There we go. Water lines up here. Now that it's moved away. So this laundry tub, ready to get moved out just like that. So this is what we have left. So got the drain, still in good condition. Got the water lines. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab the new wash tub and bring that in here. Okay, so I got the old wash basin out and I got the new wash basin in. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip this around. So we're working on the bottom here. The great thing about these things is the legs, they just pop right in. Like, they just sit in just like that. It's just resting off pressure on the ground and just how you stick it in just like that. Okay, we got all of our parts here in the sink. Go ahead and show you how to put this all together. First off, we got the faucet. Just plops on just like that. Got little washers. Go on the knobs here. These just thread on. Super easy. And when this is a new basin and everything's clean, it's just so much more enjoyable. So I'm not going to tighten these too hard right now. I want to make sure everything's in the right spot. But that's in there pretty good right now. Then we have the sprayer arm hose. And that just threads in right through here. And it's supposed to pop out the bottom. There we go. Just took a moment. So this, when it's all said and done, is going to sit right inside here. So you won't even see it. Here's the head. Just screws right on. Nothing fancy. Don't need any fancy tools for this part. Just thread on with your strength. Pops in just like that. Okay. It's really fun with this thing. There's a lot of fun little accessories like a soap holder. This thing's really nice. Okay, so I'm not sure if you got a good view of that, but that's all ready to go. So I'm I'm just going to make sure this is straight on here and tighten it just a little bit more by hand. That's why you want to wait until you're sure it's straight. Okay, so now that this is on and it's straight, I'm going to go ahead and tighten up the back. That's not moving. Okay, so now that we got everything threaded through, we've got this down secured. I'm going to take the end of this arm, and there's a little, you can see it there. So the hot and the cold water are going to go to each handle here, and then they go into the middle. That's how you control the temperature and everything like that. So when you are using the different temperatures, it goes in the center, comes out on about this line, and out to the top. And we're about ready to move this into place. So just like with removing it, I'm gonna go ahead and connect the water lines first and the drain. When you're dealing with water lines, right typically is going to be cold and left is typically going to be hot. There'll always be exceptions and differences, but typically if there's a normal install for your water, that's how it'll be. But essentially, however you disconnect it is the same way you're going to connect it. Now these are plastic threads on the sink, so you always want to be careful when you're threading it on, because if you thread it on wrong, it can be a big pain to thread it on right. So now that I got the water lines connected, I'm going to go ahead and turn them on just to make sure everything's all dry and nothing's leaking back here, because this is going to be the easiest time for me to get at anything if I do. So I do got my bucket underneath to catch anything that comes through, so it's not just going on the floor. Don't forget that step. Everything looks dry here, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm actually going to take a dry paper towel because lighting's bad, it's hard to see, it's hard to feel even because the hot and cold water make the pipes feel hot and cold. So I'm going to take a dry paper towel because this doesn't lie. So I'm just wrapping it around each pipe and come off a little wet, but there could have been water there before. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and dry this off as thoroughly as I can. I'm going to try again with a new dry paper towel. And so looking at this, it's dry. So at least for right now, I feel comfortable enough going ahead, securing this to the wall. So now if you can see, the new drain spot on the sink is a little off from where the drain is here. So I'm gonna go ahead and usually these are the drain, the P-traps is what they're called. Usually these are set in a little farther into the wall than they need to be. So I'm just gonna go ahead, get my bucket underneath, and okay, everything's all hooked up now. And so let's turn on the water and see how it works. We're dry, water's coming out, it's doing what it's supposed to do. This thing's ready to go and done. So much more sturdy too. What do you think?